AirTags were in the leak world for almost 2 years, to the point that most of us were starting to give up hope on them ever coming out at all. But now I've had them for a week. I've ingrained them into my life and put them right next to my broken key fob, and I think Apple's got their next big thing on their hand. Let's begin. So, similar to a lot of people, I was not too excited or not too interested in Apple making their own geo-tracking device. For one, because I thought they were going to do a lot of things that Apple typically does when they enter a new field. And with AirTags, they really strayed from the norm, I think, when it comes to introducing a brand new product category. And there are three primary things, I think, that stand out with AirTags compared to the launch of either the iPhone or AirPods or the Apple Watch or that type of thing. And those three primary things that they did with AirTags is what I want to highlight in today's review, okay? So for one, user replaceable batteries, okay? So it's the first time in a long time, in fact, I can't even recall the last time they've done this, but Apple made a device that is powered by a battery that you don't recharge. That has been the norm for basically the last decade, and when I was seeing all of these little AirTag leaks and rumors here and there, I was half expecting them to basically just make it Apple Watch charge compatible, and of course they don't ship a charger with the tag. They just assume you have one or you're gonna buy one separately. And while personally I would have preferred that, I wouldn't have minded that, it's safe to say I am not most people, okay? And there are plenty of people out there that don't have Apple Watch chargers, and making it a user replaceable battery encourages the likelihood of it being a device that can last for many years. And these little 2032 batteries that anybody can buy for pretty dang cheap allow an AirTag to last over a year on a single cell, which in my opinion is pretty incredible compared to competitors typically not lasting over a year, usually not quite a year. They're more towards the 10 to 11 month period. And Apple very rarely allows user replaceable batteries, especially one as simple as AirTags, where you just push down and unscrew the bottom and you can pop in a new battery and be done within a matter of seconds. That's something Apple rarely does with new entry-level products, and it's something they did here, so that's what kind of separates it from other product categories in the past. For two, Apple somehow miraculously avoided the Apple tax. Most of the time when Apple enters a new product category, they figure out what most people are comfortable spending on a device, and then they add 50% on top of that. Like AirPods, I remember before those launched, everyone was saying like, yeah, I think if they made them like $100, maybe $120, I could do it. And then Apple makes it $160, right? It goes way above the expectation. Same thing with the original iPhone. People were not used to spending that kind of money on a phone, and I can remember very clearly, even myself watching some of my older videos on this channel, I did not originally think the Apple Watch was worth it for the price, because I knew it was an iPhone accessory, not a standalone product, and I thought that the max price for that should be around $200, maybe $300. And then the first generation Apple Watches came out and they started at $350 and scaled all the way up to 17 grand, and I was like, okay, Apple, there's the Apple tax for everybody. You know, they found out what most people are willing to pay, they stretch it a little bit further, and once you buy it, you figure out you can't really live without it. And with AirTags, everyone I was talking to was pretty much expecting them to be $50 or $80. They were anticipating they were going to be very expensive, or at least I was anticipating Apple would make you buy like 2 or 3 in a pack for $100, so that, well, when you do the math, they're actually not that expensive, but they're forcing you to buy many of them at once. And that's not what they did here. They blew my expectations out of the water by pricing them at $29, which is honestly pretty comparable to all of the competition. It's not much more expensive. Actually, compared to a few others, it might be cheaper depending on which variant you're looking at. And I think this product could have very easily been one of those Apple tax devices that's definitely more expensive than the competition, but it's just clearly so much more convenient and so much easier than competitors that Apple tax ends up being worth it for a lot of people. Instead, they didn't end up doing that, and my prediction is because AirTags are one of the few geo-tracking devices out there that don't have their own little keyring attachment built in. They're literally just a puck, a little circle, which means you have to spend, you know, at least about $10 on a little keychain attachment to get them on your keys. And these little Belkin accessories are like $12. I just got the cheapest one possible. But Apple's, of course, are like $30, $40, $700. Yeah, it gets crazy pretty quick with the AirTag accessories. accessories, and that's, I'm sure, where there's insane profit margins. So Apple is still able to charge a bit of their Apple tax by upselling you on the Apple Loop or the leather loop, but I think it's safe to say most people are probably not going to buy those really expensive ones. And as I showed this to a lot of friends and family over the past week, most of them were shocked, to find out that this was an Apple product with an Apple logo and everything. And whenever they would guess the price, they were like, that's, shiny, made by Apple, must be, $80, $90. And every time I told them, nope, it's only $29, they were always like, oh, really? And that always caught them by surprise, to the point that after I would say that, most of them were like, oh, I actually, I might want to pick those up then. Everyday people, okay? Not just tech community people, not people that are interested in buying the latest and greatest from Apple, everyday folk just finding out that this accessory was so affordable, they were like, oh, maybe I should slap one of those on a keychain like this. So I'm sure the profit margins on all the AirTag accessories are, like 90 to 95%, but the AirTag itself, I honestly wouldn't be shocked if Apple's losing money on the individual AirTag sales, but they knew that to make the Find My network good, they had to price it insanely low to make this insanely popular. Which brings me to point 3 as to how Apple did something differently with AirTags compared to all of their previous product categories. They opened it up to third parties first. I've never seen Apple do something like this, where essentially before they even announced AirTags, they come forward with a newsroom post saying, hey, we're going to allow third parties to adopt to the Find My network, so you can build your geo-tracking devices or your e-bikes or even your headphones to support our Find My application and take advantage of these over 1 billion active Apple devices that can securely and encryptedly ping other Apple devices. That would be, to me, like the same as announcing that W1 pairing method with AirPods, except you do that before you unveil AirPods. It's very unlike Apple, or if they were to directly endorse Fitbit or Pebble or some other third-party watch, like a few months before announcing the Apple Watch, and they announce an app that's like, here's the watch application for iOS that allows you to have a lot of benefits and notification stuff delivered to third-party smartwatches out there. Like, if they did that a couple weeks before announcing the Apple Watch, it would have blew everybody's mind, of course, because that's not really in Apple's nature to directly promote the third-party competition, but that's what they did here with AirTags, mostly because there's definitely a lot of antitrust cases against Apple being accused of being somewhat of a monopoly, and I think there's certainly some arguments to be made there, but essentially what I think Apple prioritized here was making the best overall geo-tracking device possible, which is what I care about primarily, and I think should be prioritized. If a company has the user base, and if it has the ecosystem to create an affordable geo-tracking device that can be more accurate than any other geo-tracking tag out on the market, and nothing else can compete with that, and they can make it, cheap and obtainable and very simple to set up. You literally just take this thing out of the packaging and the little pair animation pops up on your phone, and because it's made by Apple, that results in you not needing an additional password, not needing an additional email. It's so simple and easy to set up that I think that widens the user base so that it becomes more approachable and more obtainable to a huge number of people. I think that was prioritized, and frankly, I don't really think it makes sense for the government or anybody to get involved and say, hey, that product is too good, and that product is so easy to use and so affordable that it's making this other third-party company have a hard time selling their product, therefore you need to make your product worse, or you need to somehow dumb down your product in a way so that it's more fair to competitors. I'm not in favor of making a worse user experience just so that another company can stay alive, and personally, I think Tile should absolutely make a geo-tracking device that supports the Find My network. And yeah, I know Apple's kind of set up themselves in this situation to a point where they can't lose, but why would they? Why would a company set up a situation to where they can lose? The fact is, at the end of the day, that Apple has made a very successful product that they can control and have on the latest version of an operating system across all over the globe, and if they can take advantage of that in a way that allows everyday people to track down their lost belongings better than any other company can, then what's the issue here? Okay, yes, Tile can make a Find My compatible device. They can try to undercut the AirTags. They can try to make more practical devices than AirTags. Hopefully they can make them simple and easy to understand for people. And yeah, because they're a third party and they're probably going to want you to download another app or have another email and password, that does put them at a disadvantage. But that is kind of the world of the free market we live in. It's not about making sure that everybody who comes up with a company idea is going to stick around for the long haul. It's about who can make the better product, and if you can't make the better product, then you better find something else that you can make something better at. So I understand many people may disagree with that, and that's fine. I'd love a healthy conversation in the comments, but essentially, I've loved the experience of using my AirTag and being able to track down stuff very easily. Of course, in the past week, I have not ran into many circumstances where I lost my keys and I actually needed to track it down, but when you're buying an AirTag, you're really just buying insurance to a certain extent. You're buying a just-in-case type product of, well, if I do lose my keys or if I do lose whatever I'm attaching these to, I want to be able to track them down in a way that's easy, and I really appreciate all the energy and effort Apple put into these things in making them not easy to track people with, having the little pop-up if the AirTag is separated from its owner and going with somebody else. And I'm sure Apple has thought more about these being tracked along people and in public transit than we have, and I think they made the right call with that one. I'm glad they did it, and making the battery user replaceable means that if you do find an AirTag that's spotted on you that's not yours, you can deactivate it pretty easily and pretty quickly. So anywho, I think Apple did a great job with this product. It exceeded my expectations, and I hope you guys enjoy yours. I saw a lot of people buying the 4-pack for $100. I also think that's a great value if there's that many devices you can imagine attaching this to. Appreciate you all for watching. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you in the next one.